Well, hello, family. This is Pastor Sid coming to you on this special day, on this day, very unique day, a day that you'll never see again. A day, what is today? 2/2/22, a day that's very unique. It's significant because we deal with couples on a day-to-day basis. We spend our time dealing with couples. And as I thought about today, as I thought about the significance of the two, I thought about the many relationships that we've spoken to with couples and their individuality and the uniqueness of the two people trying to form one solid relationship. As we talk about, Genesis 2:24-25 talks about the two shall become one flesh and they shall be naked and not ashamed. Just as unique as this day is, 2/2/22, the two of you trying to come together and form one relationship. This one day, having 2/2/22, is unique in all of its glory, if you will. And the question is, are you allowing in your coming together as one, are you allowing for the individuality of that other person? Or are you trying to make it so that they are who you want them to be, when you want them to be, how you want them to be, what you want them to be, what you want them to say, how you want them to say it, when you want them to say it, right? Are you trying to make that person to be what you want them to be as opposed to allowing them to be who they are? So I want to talk to you real quick about 4 things that happen when you stop trying to change that other person, when you stop trying to change that other person. You've heard the saying, right? How impossible it is to lick your elbow, or when you have a difficult situation and you're trying to herd cats, or another one you may not have heard, like nailing Jello to the wall. All of these things are like a waste of time, waste of good effort. And we'll add one more thing to that. Let's add one more thing to that. Trying to change your mate's personality. Let's add that to that list of wasting time and wasted effort. See, when it comes down to where the rubber meets the road, your mate only changes if they decide to. You cannot change that individual. You can nag, you can fuss, you can cuss, you can complain, you can argue, but that person doesn't change unless they choose to. They are who they are. And over a period of time, the longer they've been who they are, the more difficult it is for them to change. Now, a great thing that we know, there's nothing too hard for God. There's nothing impossible. So instead of trying to change that person, why don't you pray about that situation? Can I tell you why a lot of people won't pray about their mate's character and things like that? Quite often, when we take a thing to God, when we take our mate to God, he will sometimes show us ourselves. And we get couples in our office sometime and they bring their mate in for us to fix their mate. And the issue is that they need to change their perspective. And so what I want to talk to you about, I want to give you 4 things that when you change the mindset of how you look at trying to change your mate, how it will change things for you. The first thing is, when you stop trying to change that other person, you'll appreciate them and you'll appreciate each other more. When you divert that energy from attempting to change the aspects of your partner's personality, you'll start to discover, or even rediscover, to reappreciate the many positive aspects that they have. Here's what happens with a lot of couples. They will start and get stuck on the negative and totally miss the positive aspects. And when I start to inquire about the positive things, they say, yeah, but, and they quickly discard the good so we can emphasize the bad. And I understand there are some things that are tragic in relationships, but can we accentuate the positive so that hopefully we can start to shrink the negative? So let's look at trying to appreciate each other more. Feelings and expressions that will kick off those cynical responses and will help us to change our mindsets. What's number two? We learn to leverage the differences you got with that person, probably in most instances, not because they were just like you, but because they brought something different. You might have had some things in common, but opposites do attract. And they were opposite. And quite often we see the very things that brought you together become the very things that start to rub you the wrong way. So your thought is that if you could just adjust the roles and responsibilities to better suit your strength, you'd be better. And you're taking for granted or forgetting that it is their differences that make the two of you stronger, that make the two of you better. You can adjust or approach your children differently because mom has one way and dad has another way. And it's not that your ways are wrong, but maybe we can somehow ensure that we can get to our child because we have different approaches. Ultimately, working with our differences can help us to become more confident, more capable, and a more harmonious couple, right? So another thing, your satisfaction goes up when I stop trying to change that person, right? The things that are rooted in an expectation that they should or shouldn't do a thing a certain way is what causes the problem. And so when I adjust my expectations of my partner, then I start to get control of my feelings. When we feel like our partner isn't living up to our expectations, it causes conflict and resentment. And quite often, resentment comes in little drops. And before you know it, you have a whole well full of resentment and you're drowning in it. It stands to reason that not letting go of your expectations will cause a strain on your relations. Trust me, it happens like that. But if you can adjust that, if you can it'll cut down on the unnecessary fighting. It'll cut down on your feelings of frustration and you'll feel more satisfied in the relationship overall. Last thing, you grow together. When you stop focusing on your mate's flaws, it feels like a weight will be lifted up off of you. Think about it. Anytime you feel judged or criticized, you become defensive. When people start to nitpick at some things, when quite often maybe you're doing your best or maybe they're doing their best in the moment, but you nitpick on the one thing that isn't working right, people become defensive. But when you feel wholly accepted and appreciated, then you're both more apt to be more vulnerable with each other. You're more apt to give in, to even be willing to listen to one another. You'll be able to talk and to support each other. Again, getting back to that point of where we began, Genesis 2:24-25. The two shall become one. They can be naked and not ashamed. You're not just naked in your physical aspects, but you're naked in your spiritual and in your mental and your emotional aspect. And that is a game changer in relationships. Please understand this as I close. If you're married and you said I do, and you thought that those two words were going to be the magic thing that would stop those annoying issues, I'm sorry, you're mistaken. For the most part, we love and accept our mates at first, but somewhere along the line, it's those characteristics, the shine starts to come off. And again, that very thing that I love so much, that little quirky thing that I love becomes an irritant. They are who they are. Allow them to be, just like you are who you are. None of us are perfect, but we can come together, and in our imperfections, we can be a very excellent couple together. Try to change your focus. Stop focusing on the negatives and start acknowledging, recognizing, and communicating the positives. You'd be surprised how it would change things for you. All right. Hey, this is Pastor Said signing off. I hope I helped you on 2/2/22. All right. Very unique. You're unique, but even more so, God made you that way and he loves you. All right. You take care. All right. Bye-bye.